Okay, so we're now on to looking at angles in composite polygons, and a composite just means where you've got more than one polygon put together, and we're looking at finding missing angles such as this one here. Okay, so let's get into the video. So to recap, there are two key formulas that you need to know for polygons. The first is this one, which is the sum of the interior angles is n take away 2 times 180, where n is your number of sides. So if you want to find the total of all of the inside angles of a polygon added together, we can use this formula up here, where n is the number of sides of that polygon. E.g., the sum of the interior angles in the pentagon above would be, well, n would be 5 because you've got 5 sides, take away 2. And remember this part here, 5 take away 2, which is 3, tells you that if you choose a point on your polygon, you can make 3 triangles from that pentagon, okay, with each triangle having 180 degrees worth of angles. So you've got 3 of them times 180, okay, would give you 540. So that just kind of, we went through that before previously, but that is the formula. So it's saying that the total of these angles here would add up to 540 degrees. That's the first key formula. The second one is the sum of the exterior angles of a polygon add to 360. So if you've got a polygon, if you take this angle, this, add this, add this, add this, they add up to make 360. Now, if your polygon is regular, so all of your sides are the same length, okay, you can then go a little bit further and say, well, to find a missing angle, one angle, you can do the total, which is 360, and you can divide it by the number of sides or the number of angles. So in this case, that would be 360 is the total of the angles added together, and because it's regular, if you divide it by 5, because there's 5 angles or 5 sides, okay, n is your number of sides, but the same as the number of angles, divided by 5, each of those angles there is going to be worth 72. So that's going to be 72, that's going to be 72, and they're all 72. And if you add those together, they make 360. Now, let's look at this example here, which is to find the size of the missing angle x, which is this one here. And I put a bit of a clue into which formula we're going to be using here, but it's this one. Now, because these are both, it doesn't say, but these polygons here, they're both regular, okay, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they're hexagons. What we can do to find this angle here is begin by finding this angle, and because these are the same shape, that's going to be also this angle, and we know the angles around a point, okay, they add up to 360, so we can use that fact. Now, let's just go and call this here shape 1. So for shape 1, to get this missing angle here, I can use this formula, which is n take away 2 times 180, where n, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, so you've got 6 take away 2 times 180. 6 take away 2 is 4, 4 by 180 is equal to 720 degrees. So the sum of all of the angles in this first hexagon is 720. Now to get the one angle, okay, to get one of those angles, you can just go and simply do 720 and divide it. What you've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 angles, okay, and 720 divided by 6 is going to give you whatever it gives you, which is 120 degrees. So 120 degrees. Now, this here is 120 degrees, and because these shapes here, they are congruent, they're exactly the same, that must also be 120 degrees. Now to get the missing angle x, okay, because the angles around a point add up to 360, you can say, well, that's going to be 360, take away both of those 120, so 120 add 120, okay, and just to make it really, really clear, because, right, the angles around a point, they sum to 360 degrees because it's like a circle, isn't it? You've got a circle around that point, they make 360 degrees. Okay, so now we're doing x is going to be equal to 360 take away 120, 120, which is 240, so it's going to be equal to 120 degrees. So 360 take away 240, x is equal to 120 degrees. And that is your answer for this one. There we go. So this angle x, 120 degrees. Perfect. So now I've got on my turn, your turn. In fact, what I'll do is I'll leave them both up on the screen. You can pause the video and give both of those a go. Now, let's go and call this one shape 1 and shape 2. And both of these are regular, by the way. So both of these make an, it's important that we do say that these are regular. And the same over here. These are both regular polygons that you can see. Let's begin by finding this angle in polygon 1. Okay, and again, we know that the sum of all of the angles in shape 1 is going to be n take away 2. We're timesing by 180, where n is a pentagon, so it's going to have 5 sides. So 5 take away 2 times 180. So you've got 3 times 180, which is equal to 540 degrees. But you want to get one of these angles here because we're going to use that later to get the sum around the point. So we can go and say that one of the angles is going to be equal to 540 divided by 5, which is equal to, whatever that's equal to, 540 divided by 5 is 108, so 108 degrees. So this angle here is 108. Now over here you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, an octagon. So for shape 2, same thing, we can use our sum of the angles and take away 2, because I want to get this angle eventually, and times it by 180, where n is going to be 8. 8 take 2 times 180. So we've got 6 times 180, which is equal to whatever it's equal to, not too sure, 1080 degrees, 1080 degrees. And again, you want to get the size of one of the angles because we're going to use that later. So it's going to be 1080, and because there's going to be 8 angles in the octagon, you can go and divide it by 8. 1080 divided by 8 gives you 135 degrees. Now, because we're trying to find angle x and we've got a pointer, we can find this angle by knowing angles around the point add up to 360. So we can do 360, take away the 108, add the 135 degree angle. Okay, 108 add 135, and that's going to be equal to, so 360 take away 108 add 135 is equal to 117 degrees. So there we go. That is your answer for this one. X is equal to 117. Now, let's try to your turn. So if you've given that a go, that's great. And I'll go through it now, and you can fast forward till the end to get your answer. So find the size of angle X again. Similar process, but just this time we've got different shapes. So shape 1 and shape 2. Shape 1, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6-sided shape. So using our formula of n take away 2 times 180, the value of n is going to be 6. So 6 take away 2 times 180. So you've got 4 times 180, which is equal to 720 degrees. And you want to find one of those angles, because we use angles around a point. So you can go and say that one of the angles is going to be equal to 720, and you can divide it by, it's a, 1, 2, 3, 4, hexagon, isn't it? So divided by 6 and say 720 divided by 6 is equal to whatever it's equal to, which is 120 degrees. So there we go, that's good. And then this shape here, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-sided shape, which we've already had over here. So I'm just going to go and say for shape 2, because we've already done all of the working there, okay, we can go and say that one angle is going to be equal to 135 degrees, okay, from this working over here. Okay, I've already done it. Now to go and get x, we now know that this is 135 degrees. To get x, we know that the angles around the point here are going to add up to 360. So we can go and say you've got 360, take away 120, add 135, and let's go now do that. So x is going to be equal to 360, take away 220, 255, isn't it? And that's going to be equal to 360, take away. That gives you 105 degrees. And that is your answer for x. Okay, so perfect. There we go. So that is it on the first video on looking at compound polygons. We've got another video, which is in the next video that we'll get on to. Okay, but hopefully that was useful, and thank you for watching.